All right, we're live. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are picking up the Senate proposal amendment, a little bit of testimony on H686, an act relating to expanding identification of certain lobbying advertisements. And just here to get a better understanding of the proposal of amendment. So we will open up with Senator Vahovsky, who's a reporter of the bill from Government Operations. Good morning, Senator.
Morning. Senator Tanya Vyhovsky for the record. So what the Senate largely did was shrink the bill. We left in place the extension of the disclosures to be year round, and we added some language describing what was meant by brief description. Some of the stuff we saw from advocates and the Secretary of State's office was that in the brief description, people were writing things like advertising, which of course we know because it's an advertising disclosure. So we put in some specific language about, what is the advertisement about, who is doing it, what's the opinion being expressed. Really, I think that was the intent way back when that brief description language was put into law, but we felt the need to define it a little more clearly as it was not happening. What we did take out was the sort of redefinition of what is advertising. We heard a lot of testimony that there was a lot of concern and discomfort and not a lot of understanding as to what that new definition might apply to or might not apply to. And given how late it was in the session, we made the decision to move forward with the full year disclosure and come back next year when we have more time to take more testimony to sort of redefine what is advertising. And that is really, those were the changes.
I saw a hand for Rep. Waters.
From whom did you hear confusion about the definition?
We heard some confusion from Matt Coda, who wears many hats. Towards the end,
Right there.
yes, there he is. So he can express
Confused.
his concern. We also heard sort of at the last minute after we'd actually taken the language out from Matt Musgraves. He felt much better with the language taken out. Again, I fully want to look at how we define advertising. It just felt sort of late to be trying to hash all of that out. So the hope is to take that aspect up next year.
And for those of who out there or in here who aren't familiar with Musgrave, he's with the
Contractors.
Correct. Yes, just wanted to say that.
Okay, so it's lobbyists.
Yes.
Confused. Got it.
Yes.
Trade associations, yes.
Sure.
Yes.
And okay.
There was some question as to whether or not, as the language was worded, it might apply to newsletters, it might apply to education. I personally agree that I don't think it did. But in order to get it out of my committee, we needed to shrink it down.
What a wonderful time of year.
I know.
Any other questions for the senator? No. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we are going to go Sean Sheehan, the Director of Elections and Campaign Finance, Secretary of State's office. Good morning.
Good morning. Sean Sheehan, Elections Director, Secretary of State's office.
Freshly shaved.
I'm traveling to a training, but happy to testify to all of you here. As we testified in Senate Government Operations, we support the changes. We can implement them on our side. We support transparency and disclosing this information in the description. A more descriptive description will be greater transparency, and we think it makes sense to, in that uncommon scenario where a advertisement might meet the definition of both lobbying and campaign finance, that disclosing it, as long as it's disclosed in campaign finance, that's meeting the transparency guideline. My understanding is that's why Senate Government Operations made that additional amendment. That works for us. We can work that guidance into our campaign finance guide into our lobbying information guide and instruct lobbyists and campaign finance accordingly.
All right, any questions for Sean? Okay, thank you very much for the time, sir. Good luck with the training. And we appreciate you being available to run this one real quick. So,
Thank you all.
yes. Up next, we have Matt Coda, Director of Meadow Hill Consulting. How are you doing?
Good morning. My name is Matt Coda with Meadow Hill Consulting. Thank you for having me here. I apologize for not testifying earlier on this bill. I testified in the Senate and encourage the amendments, and I would encourage this committee to adopt that. So that's adopted by the Senate.
Representative Hago has a hand.
Thank you. I just want to make sure for people who are looking for it, the Senate amendment had not been posted yet to our committee page. So is it now?
Yeah, no, it's on there.
Okay, thank you. I was just looking for it too.
Yeah, I pulled it out on Fridays, actually.
Yes,
It's on there.
thanks.
There's the news for it. I guess sort of with the changes, like I guess, could you like detail what the concern was? Because I know I heard it from other groups, not just isolated to you.
So I wear, Senator Bohowski is right, I do wear a couple different hats. I've run campaigns, I've been a candidate, I've filed campaign finance reports, I've run PACs. I run a media company, I publish newsletters, I publish directories, I publish magazines and newsletters. I'm also a lobbyist. So the confusion is when do I file where? In what? Understood, paid advertisements, crystal clear, should be year round, good change, let's do it. A newsletter that I send out to one group of people that encourages them to contact their legislators to learn more about a particular issue. Would that qualify as an advertisement? This clearly, the way that comes out of the Senate, ensures that it's paid advertisement, not individuals paid to send out information on digital communication marketing. We like the changes. We think it's clear. Should there be opportunities in the future to further clarify what is meant by paid advertisements? Fine. But I think this bill makes a lot of sense, particularly now, and that lobbyists should disclose year round any paid advertisements, which this bill corrects.
Thanks. Can you just give an example of a paid advertisement that, like, would it be an ad saying vote for such and such? I'm just trying to get the difference between that and your newsletter.
So a common example of what we would disclose as a lobbyist or in a campaign finance report, but I appreciate Sean Sheehan's description of needs to be in one or the other, particularly campaign finance, which is when you would buy something, a radio ad on WVMT or a TV ad on CEX or a Digger post, paid post there. That's clearly a paid advertisement meant to encourage individuals to contact their lawmakers or to convince lawmakers themselves to vote a certain way.
Actually, I think my question's for Ted. Sorry.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Coda? If not, we'll shift over to council. Nope. Thank you for the time, sir. Good morning, council.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Tim Devlin, Legislative Counsel. Yes. What kind of questions can I answer for you?
Yes.
So here, when we're talking about paid advertising, I just want to make sure that I'm reading the existing statute within section 2 correctly, that it'd be a paid advertisement totaling $1,000 or more. Right? I know that wouldn't be part of the reporting requirements, or what is?
Yes, when you have to identify and then subsequently report the activity. So the identification, we skip over what's kind of in there. One moment while I pull up the entire statute. Cool. So here we go. So it is good. So let's see, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
So, there we are. Okay, yes. So what's kind of omitted here under section A doesn't really have any monetary thresholds. We find that in B where we have the reports. Now, A requires that there be identifications, and then B says, okay, we have to, or yes, subsequent reports filed. One, we have the triggering event, so that's where we have the monetary threshold of $1,000 for either the advertisement or the advertisement campaign. Then we have subdivision 2, which entails what needs to go into it. That's where we have the additional detail of this amendment being kind of briefed into that 2C there for the brief description. And then we have a new subsection 3, which would kind of clarify that the reporting only needs to happen once if it falls into the purple of the Venn diagram of election hearing communication overlapping with an advertisement. So I'm just saying, look, you have to post it in or file in accordance to the campaign finance laws. You can file here, but you're not necessarily required to as well. So yes, that $1,000 threshold is what triggers when there needs to be reporting of that. Could there be an advertisement that is less than $1,000? Sure, but then it wouldn't need to be reported. It's the other way. But then again, numerous smaller advertisements might fall into actually the cumulative idea of what becomes an advertisement campaign. After that.
Yes.
Yeah, and if I'm remembering correctly, there is existing statute around like a $500 threshold.
For registration as a lobbyist.
Yeah.
A lobby employer, etc.
Any other questions for council?
Happy to come back up.
Yeah. After that, I got a clearer understanding of what the changes were. Open the table up for conversation. No. Be comfortable taking a position. So I will call for favorable thumbs to accept the Senate proposal of amendment on H 686 of act relating to expanding identification of certain lobbying advertisements. Favorable thumbs. Rep Stone? Thank you, thumb up. Awesome. That is 10-0, 1 favorable amendment. Right, so we have the floor creeping up on us. But I'm gonna take us offline so we can see if we have an update on the cannabis conversation.